Hello everybody, Raven Knight here, and welcome to another tour video. Y'all really seem to like it when I give y'all a tour of the Cathedral Map, so I decided we'll go ahead and do some more of those, and just keep doing them until y'all get tired of them. Today we're going to be touring a Viking map. We're going to be looking at most of the Dominion and Elimination maps first, and we're starting with Riverfort. Now, it's just going to be me here, no bots or anything like that. We're just going to look around, and as before, this isn't a historically based video. This is more of a me showing off the map to you guys for things you may have never noticed. So starting off on this end of the map, if you look around you, you can notice that right here there's a log blockage keeping you away from the path. I'm not sure where the path is supposed to lead. It looks like it might lead to a dock of some kind going over to the river, but it's hard to tell. Now, if you look over there, it looks like that is where the waterway from the river seems to move out towards the sea, to the mountain range. It looks like the river goes out towards the sea there, and you can even see a large statue of a Viking lord or Viking guardian standing there. You wouldn't see that historically. You wouldn't see a lot of statues like that, but it is a nice little touch. And then up there at the top, that looks familiar, doesn't it? That looks like the Longhouse map up there. Maybe that's a little reference to it, or it could just be a longhouse itself. That could always be what it is. Now, if you look out there on the water, you can see a lot of stone masons and trees built up along there. Those would be difficult to navigate by ship. But with Viking longships, wouldn't be too big of a problem, I don't think. Got a ruined stone right here. Pretty cool. Marking the entrance. That's always nice. Let's start down here and work our way up. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up, okay? So let's get going. Got another ruin that looks very similar right here on this rock. Don't know what the ruin means, but it looks really cool, doesn't it? Now you see the ice fixtures on the bottom there. Very nice, very nice. It's not anything, it's something that nature herself provided. Now, something that I often don't take into consideration is look at the etching on the logs here. Look at the very careful etching and embossings that they put onto the logs. Looks very, very nice. I actually really like the way that these are designed. It looks very fancy, but it looks very much like what you'd expect sort of a Viking or Nordic kind of place to offer. I really, really like that. That looks like a watchtower of some sort. A watchtower, yeah. I think that that's probably what that is, and it's put in the right spot for it. Now, this doesn't make a great deal of sense. We got ourselves a long ship set up over here, but you'll notice that the long ship is positioned right over this little like surface right here. There's nowhere for the long ship to come down and be put into the water, and even if you could put it into the water, the way these rocks are set up, you wouldn't be able to get it out, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So this is a very odd addition. It looks like this is where you could build a ship or set up a ship, but the way these rocks and the way this plateau is set up, it'd be very difficult to put these down into the water. Perhaps you could move that little, this little thing right here. Perhaps you can move it and allow them to be brought into the water, but it'd be difficult. So just something that I thought about. Now down here, it looks like this is a place where you could probably store supplies, like maybe building equipment or traded goods that you get from moving these shipping vessels, because that's what they look like. They look like small fishing shipping vessels, like something like that. They're not super big, so I doubt you could move a large amount of warriors in them, but for fishing, like you see the nets on the side, maybe these are fishing boats, which would make a lot of sense. And then you have a figurehead right here. There's not a lot of point for the figurehead. Maybe it used to be part of a larger ship at one point, and they just repurposed it here. Hard to say. I do not know. You can see the mountain range out there. Looks very beautiful. Reminds me a bit of Skyrim, actually. Very nice. And also, can I just say, look at the sky? Do y'all ever take a moment to just look at the sky? Look at the clouds, man. Just look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. I totally love it. Totally love it. All right. Let's move down this walkway. Very nice walkway. I don't understand why part of this is barricaded and the other isn't. I guess for archery support if enemies were coming up from this snowy pathway. But still, an interesting thought. Again, you got barrels and boxes of supplies, so you can imagine that these are supply crates. Let's move our way up the wall here. Now this, it's cut off awkwardly, but I think this could have been a longhouse or storage house of some kind. You got these giant barrels here, which could be containing alcohol or mead, which is likely what that is. And judging by all the equipment laying around, this looks like it could have been a storage house or maybe a fishing house of some variety. It's cut off kind of abruptly, though. I'd like to have seen more of it, but hey, you know, that's likely what it is. You got, you notice the nets up there holding some of this stuff? It's kind of crazy. How do you get that down? You just cut the nets, I suppose? Anyway. Let's keep moving. Love this tarp up here. I love the way this tarp is up there. That's very nice. It's simplistic, but it's very nice. Oh, yeah, let's go down here first. Let's go down the main pathway. Oh, let's go here first. I've never noticed. I've noticed a lot of people don't go up this way to get to the top. I just think that's interesting that a lot don't. It's kind of cool. Let's keep going. Now here is something interesting. It looks like this is a crane to help lower and raise equipment to go down into this cart. But this cart has certainly seen better days. So I think that's kind of funny. Just something that I thought was interesting. We got a well over here, a caged well, but there's nothing down at the bottom. The rocks have filled it up, so it is a dead well. A dead whale. Here's a catapult. It is a very awkward looking catapult. You would not see this in a Viking stronghold. Nah, you would not see something like this in a Viking stronghold historically, but it's very obvious what it's there for. It's meant to attack ships on the river. But I'd probably want to have more than just this one, because this catapult doesn't look like it would be the most accurate. Now, here we have a moat with daggers in it, well, with spikes, and you gotta wonder why. What would you need a moat like this for? Especially when there are very clear areas of entrance here, here. Like, there's plenty of ways to get up there. I don't know why you'd want a moat. Usually you'd want a moat to prevent an area of entry, but let's pretend this moat wasn't there. How are you going to get up there in the first place? You can't climb the wall, can you? So, a very odd choice, I gotta admit. We have some palisades here. Not enough to stop anyone. You probably want to set up a few more, 2 or 3 more, to stop the enemy from getting over. At least that would be my suggestion. Now let's head over here. I like this little run-up platform. I like this little plank that they set up. That's kind of cool. Now let's go up the ladder, and we'll check out the top. How y'all enjoying Helena's tour? She's having fun. All right, we've got a lot of equipment, barrels, and just junk laying around. Again, that leads me to believe that this river fort was a fishing village or trade post at one point. That is my best guess. It has been repurposed into a base or fortress. Like, because the way I look around, what I see is this place used to be a place where, you know, you fished, you traded in goods, but then with the war going on, you had to change its function, which makes sense. See that watchtower over there? Yeah, it's a watchtower, all right. Pretty flimsy. And there's your statue again. Does it look bigger now to you? I don't know. Maybe it looks bigger to me. All right, let's keep moving. Now, up here is an odd spot. I'm very curious about what this place could be. Because if we had... unless this is a trading post, and this is maybe a lookout or maybe a place of commerce, but you would think the place of commerce would be down there in the walkway where the minions would normally be. That would be my first guess. But hard to say. This could be a place of commerce or trade. You could have meetings here. Or maybe it's a place where you do lookout work, where you look out to see enemies coming. I suppose that's the most practical thing it could be used for. You have a few interesting ways to get up here. Either side has a staircase to get up, so it looks like this is a very important place. You want people to be able to get up here. You don't want restricted access, which only makes that moat around the other side all that more funny. You also have these trap doors that I guess you would use to drop down. Drop down into what? I do not know. What is below this platform? It could be that this is a shelter. Maybe you hide your important diplomats or leaders down there while the fighting is going on. Or maybe you hide important perishable goods. Maybe it's cooler down there so you can keep your goods safe. That's always a possibility. It's an interesting thing to discuss. It's an interesting point. And then you got these two big double doors. And if you look behind the double doors, you see that there seems to be some kind of pathway backwards into sort of a larger fortress. So it's very possible that this is a larger longhouse or fortress that leads out into the river fort, which is a big possibility. You come over here, you see the moat again, the lookout point. This looks to be where you can control the crane. I don't know how you'd control it without a lever or system. Maybe you... I don't even know. How does this crane work? That's... Oh my gosh, the crane would not work. Look at that. Okay, so if you look very carefully at the rope connected to that net, the rope is tied around that wooden plank. So the only way to lower it would be to spin this wheel, and normally you would either lower or raise the rope, or you would lower and raise the wooden structure holding the rope. But you'll notice that the spinner, the wheel, does not have any control over the height of anything, because the wooden structure is built into the structure. So this is a unworking crane from the looks of it. That's funny to me. That is very funny. And then we come around here. Now you'll notice that we have more shields and weapons here than before, which likely means that this portion is meant specifically for the military or guards. If you come over here, you see a pathway leading up into the fortress in that direction. So you can definitely see where the military, or where at the very least people, would be able to come in. You also see another doorway into this portion of the fortress, and possibly a stairway leading into it. You can see the fortress itself. So this could be a Jarl stronghold. Perhaps a Jarl who focuses highly on trade or outward bound fishing. In fact, I believe that this place, since it was also the map used for Bolthorn's story, maybe this was Bolthorn's original home. You know, this could be where Bolthorn hails from. Pretty crazy stuff, I gotta say. And then if you look at the bottom here, I love that giant ram skull. You think there's a ram that big out there, or a steer that big out there that they got that from? Ooh, doggy! I'd like to meet that monster, huh? And then finally, you have this entryway for the attackers. Now, I do find this interesting. These do look like lookout points. In fact, if you come over here, you can see where they would stand to do their looking out, which is kind of cool. But I don't see an obvious entryway to get into the lookout point. You normally want the lookout entryway to be right here somewhere so that a defender could get into it. But that leads me back to my point about those trapdoors. Could it be possible that there's underground networks underneath the ground where they could climb up into these structures? Just a thought I had. Just a thought. Could there be underground tunnel systems that the Vikings set up to be able to get around? It is something that perplexes me, and I think could be a very interesting addition. But that is just me. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that concludes our tour of the Viking map trading fort. Or, well, no, I said it wrong, didn't I? River fort, sorry. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really did enjoy looking over all this. This is a really cool-looking map. I do like it. It's one of my preferred maps, actually, because I like some of the fights that can go down here. But it's always fun to take a look at some of these maps and how they're structured and what they're meant to look like and speculate on the different aspects of it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.